Right, this is a walk around video for Honda Cr-V, and this is a 2-litre ES manual. As you can see here, 2010 car with 66,000 miles on the clock. Finishing this beautiful deep sapphire blue with the black half leather interior. The car is in absolutely beautiful condition, it really is. It looks fantastic in this colour. It's been clearly very well looked after in every respect. Front of the car, lights, lenses completely clear and intact, no condensation cracks or otherwise in those. And then let's come to the front of the car, very clean. Minimal amount of stone chips, there's a few but they're very light indeed. And to come down the near side of the vehicle first, very clean in the panel work, it's really nice. Front wings absolutely unmarked. Front near side alloy, absolutely clean as a whistle. Full set of Dunlop tyres on this car, which is always a very good sign of ownership. And then to come down the panels here, very clean. There was one tiny little dimple dent which I'll try and find, but it is minuscule, so it's going to be hard. I think it was on the front door actually. I'll just come back this way a second. Oh, there it is. Don't know if you can see it, but it really is. I mean, it's absolutely... It's hard to sort of get the camera to pick it up, but we do try and pick up on them as best we can. Rear side, near side alloy, near side rear alloy, again absolutely immaculate. And around the back of the car, again incredibly clean and tidy. Certainly one of the best examples we've ever had, I must admit. Helped by the colour, because the colour really does make this car stand out. And offside the vehicle, as with the near side, very clean in the panels. Rear alloy, again absolutely unmarked. Remaining panel work even, and absolutely beautiful. And finally, offside front alloy, unmarked. So looking at the car externally, which is in absolutely beautiful condition. Coming to the back of the car now, as you can see there, I mean, these are enormous boots, they really are. So it's full complement of equipment, tonneau cover and the rear middle shelf there. So the tonneau cover just slides back, and now these ones go forward and back with the seats, because the seats can go backwards and forwards. Middle shelf, as I've always said in these videos, I've never found a great use for them, but basically they tilt up to give you better access, or take them out completely and then put them in a little recess down there, and they're hidden away so they don't get in the way of anything, and you're left with a quite enormous boot area. Just coming to the back of the car now, as you can see here, mats, there's a full set of Honda mats in the car, a massive amount of rear legroom in these vehicles, it really is, and the seats are in absolutely beautiful condition. Coming to the front now, front passenger door card in beautiful condition again, all the little recesses have been kept beautifully well. Footwell area again, fantastic condition. And then the front passenger seat, hardly had any great use at all, it's in beautiful condition again. Driver's door again, very good condition. The only one which will show any obvious signs of wear, the sort of bracelets or room marks on the plastic, but so it's certainly keeping with the age and mileage of the car. Again, driver's footwell area, fantastic condition again. And driver's seat looks almost as new, it's absolutely incredible. They do take their miles so extraordinarily well, these cars. So sat inside the car now, just to pan around the dashboard, but to all intents and purposes it looks pretty much factory fresh. It's in absolutely fantastic condition. Even little recesses down here again being kept very nicely. Heated seats on these later ES models, all working exactly as they should as well. Worth pointing out, you also have in this little cubby hole here a little USB lead, so you can play music through your phone and charge your phone at the same time as well. I come across the main dashboard binnacle, just pan in there for you. Hopefully you can see 66,010 miles, and only the low fuel light. There's no warning lights on this car at all. but it really is. I mean, the video, in all honesty, just does not do this car justice inside. It's in absolutely stunning condition in here. Just to show you, owner's manual pack, and very importantly, locking wheel nut key is here and present with the car. So finally, just to come under the engine bay, absolutely fantastically presented by Honda. None of these huge plastic covers just to get in the way of doing even the most basic of maintenance. It's a maintenance or garage owner's dream, look after these cars. Cam change driven engines, no belts to worry about either. More of which in the following road test video. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda Cr-V, and it's the 2 litre ES model. Obviously a manual car, as you can see here. Registration number of this car is EY10OTA, and mileage at the start of the road test is 66,010 miles. Reason for doing the road test is so customers of ours actually get to see the cars we're selling or advertising in operation. That way, if there's any issues at all relating to the car, we can and we will relay them back to you. It's the whole point of doing it. We have customers now coming from all over the UK and mainland Europe, and we feel as though it's right that we put the time and effort and energy into road testing the cars so you can actually see them in operation, and it is the very car you're seeing in the advert. It's also done on the very quiet country roads very close to our premises, so hopefully will be representative of exactly how you'll feel when driving the car if offered a test drive. Coming to the car itself, it's been just wonderfully maintained. It's been serviced throughout its life by the same dealership, and it's the same dealership we bought the car from. We used to work for the Bristol Honda dealership, so we know most of the dealerships very well indeed, and we know that garage particularly well. And it's obvious as soon as you drive the car starts obviously instantly, engines settles to completely smooth, even idle, and it pulls absolutely beautifully. It's a wonderfully smooth engine. It's keen to rev, it's got plenty of low down guts. It's just a lovely civilised unit, but on top of which is probably the reason people buy Hondas as much as anything else, they have pretty much bomb-proof reliability. So long as you look after them to a reasonable level, they'll go on for hundreds of thousands of miles, very, very easily indeed. It's a fantastic unit. There's no warning lights on the dashboard at all, just the low fuel light whilst the engine's running. Temperature gauge is running at about a third, which is exactly where it should be, and given the fact that the engine's been running for quite some time and it's 29 degrees today, it's a scorching day, and temperature gauge is exactly where it should be. Engine then feeds through clutch and into gearbox. Clutch on the car, smooth, positive, squeak free. Bite point is exactly where it should be on the clutch pedal travel as well, so all in very, very good order there. Clutch then feeds through into the Honda 6-speed gearbox, which I've often said, it should be really in a sports car, not in a SUV, because it's got such a wonderful gear change. Short in throw, precise, meaty in action, mechanical in feel. It's everything I love in a gearbox, and this one exhibits absolutely zero wear. The whole car feels like just driving one straight off the dealership forecourt from brand new. It just feels absolutely rock solid. It really, really does. But wonderful, wonderful gear change. So in terms of the powertrain of the car, all in absolutely fantastic order. Steering of the car tracks bullet straight. There's no vibrations coming back through the steering wheel at all at this or any speed up to the legal limit. So as I say in many of my videos, it's a real pet hate of mine, so I really do hate it with wheel wobble, and this is absolutely as it should be. One of the last of the proper power steering systems, in my opinion, hydraulic power steering. Beautifully weighted, fluid in action, adds weight to the car. It feels like the car's heavier than it really is. It's got that lovely secure feeling as you drive along. Can't detect any wear through the steering at all. It feels utterly precise. Same goes for the chassis, which is perfectly tuned to the steering of the car, and that's not always a given. The ride is very, very comfortable, very controlled, damping's really good. You don't get lurching through the corners. It sits flat and true, so passengers front and particularly rear don't get that horrible kind of sort of seesaw action which you get in so many cars. Just brilliantly done, really is. It's obviously not a sports car. They've set it up for comfort more than outright handling, which is of course where you'd want the compromise to be set, but they've just done a particularly good job of it. Also, what I'm looking for on these road tests is just any sort of mechanical noises sort of coming up from underneath, where you might have normally little sort of droplings chattering away underneath where they're worn, but there's nothing on this. It's absolutely exactly as it should be. You'll hear it going over a bump like that, but none of those sort of secondary noises coming back through. Just going to give the brakes a bit of a jab when we get around this corner. Yeah, really, really good brake pedal. I knew it would be because I sort of looked at the brakes earlier and they look really good. Pulls the car down straight and true, doesn't pull left, right or otherwise. No pulsing, no vibrations going back through the brake pedal at all, so all in very fine order there. Just checking the cruise control function, that's working exactly as it should as well. Looking around inside the car, it's an absolutely beautiful condition in here, as you know from the walk around video. Videos don't quite often do justice to the interiors of the car. What the video can't do, but I can try and explain just how beautifully built these things are. And this is the real world of build quality, not brand new and the motoring press get their hands on them and they go salivating over anything that's German. Build quality is now sort of 8, 9, 10 years down the line with this many miles on the clock. How do they stand up there? And this is where they come into their own. It's by country mile, in my opinion, the best built of all these SUVs. So don't confuse hard plastics with cheap, because they're not. It's just a beautifully put together car which is utterly practical. Fantastic to sit in. In a world of overcomplicated cars, it's a breath of fresh air just to get in the car, press buttons and things actually happen that you want to happen. You don't have to shout at it or press silly sort of iDrive things to try and make even the most basic of functions operate. Air conditioning on this hot day, pumping out absolutely ice cold air, by the way. Heated seats, I did actually try them, but they work absolutely fine, but obviously instantly turned off today. The main dashboard, typical Honda dashboard, simplicity itself, big dominating dials, simple, easy to read dials as well. The whole thing, as I said, is it's a dream to drive. They're a lovely, lovely car, of which I've had tons of them, so I know these cars intimately. Finally, the as you probably already know, these are four-wheel drive cars, albeit Honda, very, very quickly realised, and bear in mind Honda are the world's best-selling SUV, the Cr-V. So they know the market well. They realise that most people will be doing this most of the time in their cars, which is just driving on perfectly normal roads in perfectly good conditions. So why on earth have the car in permanent four-wheel drive when all that's doing is using more fuel, putting extra mechanical strain on the car and chewing up tyres unnecessarily? So what this does, just drives in front-wheel drive pretty much the whole time. It's only when the front wheels start to slip, it senses it and activates the rear wheels to kick in to give you four-wheel drive. It's seamless, there's no buttons to press, it deactivates almost as quickly as it comes in, and it works brilliantly. And I've towed many caravans across some pretty soggy pitches and never got stuck with the Cr-V. They're very, very effective. Great car. As I said at the start of the video, the whole point of it is to pick up on any issues, no matter how small they might be. There is nothing on this car. It drives absolutely beautifully. Whoever's lucky enough, and I really mean lucky enough to get this car, will be taking possession of a wonderful vehicle.